Hi guys, it's Mrs. King, and I'm going to work with you on your 5.35 sound. So again, our agenda today is look up the vocab words, read the text and take notes, watch the video and take notes, and answer the questions. And I have to say, I really enjoyed this reading. It is kind of long, but a lot of real world information here, so I enjoyed it very much. All right, so other things I have open right now, I've got my Merriam-Webster dictionary link so I can look up some words. I've got my Google. I actually have my notes from yesterday, so that if I need to reference those, I can. So I kept that open. And then something else I just want to show you. Here we go. Look at, I did all my sound work, so you can just see I've got a lot of notes here. I've done it, but I'm actually going to use the blank document to go over it with you. Okay, so here we go. Actually, close this. I'm going to use the copy. Here we go. Okay, putting my name in. Okay, and ready to go. So again, we've got some vocabulary words that we're going to go over: boundary, interaction, reverberation, concert hall, ultra, and resonance. Okay, so boundary, I know like when it gets to the end of my yard, I think of a boundary. For the purposes of learning and just being in the context of physics, I'm going to use my dictionary link to look that up, just to double check myself and see if there's a technical term that I need to think about. Okay, so boundary, here we go. Okay, scroll down. I notice that it's a noun, and it says something that shows where an area ends and another begins. All right, well, that's definitely what I think of as a boundary, but I'm going to check out the second definition. A point or limit that indicates where two things become different. Okay, so I think in the context of physics, I would put these two together. So I'm going to say where something ends or becomes different, or a point or limit where something becomes different. I'm going to use that as my definition. Okay, so here we go. And I just use my real world knowledge to put those two definitions together and think about what I want to think of for physics. All right. So you guys can go do interaction, you can do reverberation. I wanted to point out concert hall. Isn't that kind of weird to have that here? Well, I know what that is, but I'm thinking also in the context of physics, we're talking about sound. So I'm going to just, in my own words, put what I think that is. A place where people go to hear live music, then put in parentheses sound, okay? Because I want to relate it somehow to physics, okay? And then definitely with sound, that's how I'm relating it to physics. Okay, ultra is a prefix, so that's a word that goes in front of other words. Okay, so you should definitely use your dictionary definition there. And then resonance, okay? All right, so we're going to start with our reading. Again, we're going to highlight, and we're just going to review some notes here, okay? So the interaction between sound waves and boundaries. Like other waves, sound waves can be reflected by hard surfaces and refracted as they pass from one material to another. Diffraction causes sound waves to spread out through small openings. Carpet and soft materials can absorb sound waves. The picture below shows examples of sound interactions. Okay, so Mr. Lynch has actually taken the point of like kind of bolding these. You could highlight some words. I noticed like carpet and soft materials. That's something that's interesting to me. If you don't know that those are related to absorption, you should definitely highlight something like that. Okay. And then, as I mentioned, these words, reflect, refract, diffract, and absorb, are all words from the 5.34 sound. So I'm actually going to take a look. If I don't remember reflection, let me just look at my definition I had for that. Okay, here we go. In my notes, I've got when a wave bounces off an object. So I'm going to actually use that in today's notes. Okay. So you guys can go ahead and check your notes for the other information. All right, scrolling down. We've got 4 pictures here, okay? Make sure you read the italics. Sound displays all the properties of wave in its interactions with materials and boundaries. Oh, there's one of our vocabulary words. All right, what are the 4 interactions of waves with barriers and boundaries? So I put this information into my own words in a list here, okay? Next thing, reverberation. In a good concert hall, the reflected sound and directed sound from the musicians together create a multiple echo called reverberation. The right amount of reverberation makes the sound seem livelier and richer. Too much reverberation and the sound gets muddy from too many reflections. Okay. Concert hall designers choose the shape and surface of the walls and ceiling to provide the best reverberation. Some concert halls have movable panels that can be raised or lowered from the ceiling to help shape the sound. Okay. Let's see. I would highlight this like a multiple echo reflect effect. I think that's important. Okay. I think this is really important. Concert hall designers choose the surface of the walls and ceiling to provide the best reverberation. Interesting. And that's real life. So that's really interesting to me. Okay. All right. What does the first sentence say about reverberation? In a good concert hall, the reflected sound and direct sound from the musicians together create a multiple echo called reverberation. So I'd kind of turn that around, put it in my own words. Good concert halls have acoustics that reflect and direct sound in a good way. Okay. So then I wanted to point out here, too much reverberation. One thing I think about there is like a really noisy dining hall. If you can imagine the cafeteria at lunchtime, and what does that sound like? That to me is too much reverberation. Okay. So let's keep going. Picture here, sound waves bouncing up. Okay. In this picture, people sitting in the audience hear the piano in 2 ways, directly from the stage and reflected off the stage. This creates reverberation. Concert halls are tuned to produce the best possible listening experience. All right. Constructing a good concert hall. Direct sound reaches the listener along with the reflected sound. So B and C from the walls. The shape of the room and the surfaces of its walls must be designed and constructed so that there is some absorbed sound and some reflected sound, but not too much. Okay. So important things, the shape of the room and the surface of its walls are very important. All right, and that's the answer to your first question here. Okay. Ultrasound. Ultrasound is a sound that has high frequency, often 100,000 hertz or more. We cannot hear ultrasound, but it can pass through the human body easily. Medical ultrasound instruments use the refraction and reflection of sound waves inside the body to create images. Doctors often take ultrasound pictures of the human body. It is pretty obvious what the ultrasound image is below. All right, I'll let you guys figure out what that is, okay? And you've got some questions here to answer, okay? Resonance of sound. Resonance is when a force is being applied at the exact frequency at which an object naturally vibrates. Spaces enclosed by boundaries can create resonance with sound waves. Okay, so think about playing on a swing set. When a kid learns to pump her legs at just the right time, she can enjoy swinging for a long time. This is an example of, that word right here. She is applying what at the exact what of the swing. You guys figure that out, okay? Almost all musical instruments use resonance to make musical sounds. Panpipe is a good example of resonance in an instrument. A panpipe is a simple instrument made of many tubes of different lengths, okay? So here's our different lengths, longer lengths and shorter lengths over here. Okay. Longer pipes create longer wavelength standing waves and make lower frequencies of sound. Shorter pipes create shorter wavelength standing waves and therefore make higher frequencies of sound. One tube is closed and the other end is open. Blowing across the open end of a tube creates a standing wave inside the tube. The frequency of a standing wave is the frequency of sound given off by the pipe. When you blow across a tube, what kind of sound wave does it make? What determines the note a specific tube plays? Ooh, interesting question. Okay. All right, echolocation. Bats navigate at night using ultrasound waves instead of light. This is called echolocation. We've got some questions to answer here. Okay. A bat's voice is like a beam of sound. A bat emits short bursts of sound that rise in frequency and are called chirps. When the chirp sound reflects off an insect, the bat's ears receive the echo. Since the frequency of the chirp is always changing, the echo comes back with a slightly different frequency. The bat can hear the difference between the chirp and the echo. It indicates the direction and how far the insect is from the bat. Okay. All right, so you've got a pretty neat video. I definitely recommend that you watch that. It's about 5 minutes long and take some bullet points. It kind of summarizes but with some more video and interesting information about how bats use sound to capture their prey. Okay. And then you've got some questions down here, and that's it. Okay, guys? So again, feel free to reach out if you need help. I think all of this information is really interesting because it's information that we can use in real life. Okay? Hope you guys are doing great. Take care and have a great day.